Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. My name is Carola and I moved to Paris in 2017. And in today's video, we are comparing the real-life Paris with the movie Paris.
Hey everyone, super happy to be here. My name is Lauren Clark and you can find my YouTube channel at Lauren Clark, Lauren Gail Clark, one of those two. I kind of forget, but you'll find me. On my channel, I talk about manifesting your desires, about what it's like to live in Paris as a student, and I am a student currently at Sciences Po Paris, and I've been here since July 2020. Yes, 2020, but off and on for 3 years. So very happy to be here today.
Hello everyone, my name is Monique Calendar. I'm actually a podcaster. My podcast is called Snapchat with my younger self, where I am the younger self and my co-host, Miss Karen Thomas, adds the snap to our chat. You can find us on Spotify and Apple Music or anywhere podcasts are available. And we're here today to talk about our real lives in Paris versus what you see in the media. Don't believe it.
Totally different, fake news.
So, what is the most unrealistic thing you've seen in a movie or in a TV series?
I would have to say the first thing that I noticed is that Paris looks clean in these films, and this is not the case. Dogs are peeing and pooing everywhere. I think they even have a special word for dog poop on the sidewalk. I can't remember what it is at the moment, though.
Côte de chien, but that's different.
I don't know. Well, there you go. That's how you say it in French. Sounds much better, doesn't it? And the second thing is that cafes are not crowded, because they are. They're very crowded. There's a lot of people. It's very loud. So I understand why they show it that way, because I think it would be impossible to film something with a bunch of people around. But it's unrealistic, so don't come here and expect to have any personal space.
Yeah, I definitely agree to the not having any personal space. Crazy. Metros are packed, buses are packed. Where it's like, if you want personal space, don't come to Paris. I think for me, the most unrealistic thing is seeing apartments depicted in Paris in the films as these really big, luminous, bright, open-spaced place, when in fact you're lucky if you get 9 square meters for a relatively good price. And it's tiny. Maybe you have a window that's about the size of my hand here. It's very small, so not properly depicted.
Yeah, and also in the films you always cross the Eiffel Tower either when going to work or when right outside your window.
Yeah.
And usually you won't get the apartment next to the Eiffel Tower. You'd be very lucky if you have some kind of Eiffel Tower view.
Do you know, I lived in an apartment near the Eiffel Tower, but I did not have a view of it. So I know, that's okay. I had to go outside to see it. That's not too bad.
We have an admirer. He's watching us from the sidelines. Bonjour monsieur.
This is something. Actually, this is something. Do you see this in the movies?
Nous allons bien. On fait juste une petite vidéo. On raconte nos expériences à Paris, voilà, comme des étrangers, étrangères.
Is this something that you see in the movies? Random people stopping to sketch you. Wait, this is for us. Merci beaucoup. It's her.
Ah, c'est vous. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Ok. Mais c'est très gentil. Merci monsieur. Bonne journée. Au revoir. I think there is one thing that actually does happen that I see in movies depicted in Paris, is that there are so many synchronicities, right? So these people, they fall onto, like they cross paths with this person, or this experience happens, and it's so magical and wonderful. And I really do have to admit that it has been my experience where things have just so happened to fall into place without me really expecting it.
Yeah.
Or I'll be an example, I totally was not expecting this. I was riding my bike one summer, I was stopped at the light, and this guy from my high school started to walk across the street, and I'm like, what are you doing in Paris right now? Like, what are you doing here? And so many experiences like this have happened before, and I think synchronicity.
It can be magical, but maybe not in the way that you think. Like, you're probably not going to have a meet cute by the Eiffel Tower and fall madly in love with a tall, handsome Frenchman.
Exactly.
Because most Frenchmen aren't tall or particularly that handsome. But I guess it depends on what you're into.
Yeah, and also the people who start a conversation with you are usually not the people you want to start the conversation with.
So true.
And
But I disagree with the depiction of French people as being like super mean and rude. I don't think
I
there is
agree.
mean and rude. I haven't had that experience. I mean, like, there's rude people everywhere in the world,
Yeah.
right? I don't think it's any more or any less than anywhere else.
yeah, I totally agree. I never had anything where I would say, oh, such a rude French person.
Yeah.
And usually in the cafe there hasn't been any snobby commentary or anything.
Nothing.
It's
Well,
mostly
I can't say that. I do have a snobby waiter, but
Oh.
but it's with love. I think it's with love.
yeah, Parisians are not mean. They can be actually really helpful. So whenever I asked for directions or needed some kind of help, someone helped me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've done that. I don't think I've asked for directions, actually.
Okay.
I usually just use my phone.
So the very first week I was here, I had the friend of a friend who I was supposed to meet because she was living in Paris. And my phone battery died and I couldn't remember that it was Fnac. So I asked the very next person, and it was raining, so I was drained. And so I asked like a mother and daughter couple if they know the Snuff or something like that shop. And at first they were a bit taken aback.
You said snap?
I said Snuff, and then they looked at me.
SNCF.
No.
Fnac. It was the Fnac.
Oh, Fnac.
I was supposed to look for the Fnac,
wow,
and
it's way off.
so I asked the two for the Snuff, and at first they thought I was asking for money because it was really raining and I wasn't looking that well anymore because I was just panicking. But then they realized, oh, you mean Fnac, and then they described the way to the Fnac, and I was able to meet her.
Your story actually reminds me of another thing that's unrealistic in movies about Paris. It's the rain. I don't know about you, but I don't find the rain particularly romantic here. We just came out of a week and a half of on and off, like every single day. It was rain, shine, in a cycle of about, 45, 30 minutes?
Yeah, and the rain, once it starts, like it doesn't take long, but it's like really
torrential.
like a shower.
It can come down on you pretty hard. I actually got stuck on my bike in the rain, just like a random 5-minute rain shower that just caught me in just the right spot.
Yes.
And it's dangerous. It's scary. It's not romantic. I wasn't feeling sexy at all in that moment.
No, I definitely agree with you. Like, I have had so many experiences where I've been on my bike and all of a sudden it's raining. I'm like, Paris, why are you doing this? Like,
why are you doing this?
You said, like, the weather app told me that you were going to be nice today.
I know.
Don't trust
And
the
now,
weather.
and now you're not. And I think that's an expectation that you need to totally just throw out the window if you're coming to live in Paris or you've seen movies and you're like, oh, it's always so sunny and nice. No, you don't come to Paris for the weather. The weather is very bipolar, so...
It rains a lot more than they depict.
Yeah, and
Right?
it's also super windy. I tried to film on some bridges or some nicer streets. Like, yeah, we got lucky with the trees behind us, but you can't film. It's
It is
super
quite
noisy
windy a lot of
and
the time.
yeah.
Coming out of the metro.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Coming out of the metro and there's just like this gust of wind trying to knock you back down the stairs. Like, and now I'm just like, let me zip up my coat and like
Yeah.
tighten up my scarf before
Maybe make sure
I go.
my skirt's not
Yeah,
going to fly
exactly.
out.
You have to prepare yourself before exiting the metro.
Yeah, it's
Don't
it's an
come out
event.
here in flip-flops trying to be cute
Oh, yeah,
coming out of
do
the
not
metro.
wear flip-flops.
No.
No,
That
that's
goes
true.
back to the
Style thing.
yeah. They
That's true.
No flip-flops. Flip-flops, no.
I moved
Yeah.
here from California.
Same.
And I'm a huge flip-flop fan. Can I say that?
Yeah,
And,
flip-flop fan.
A flip-flop fan? Yeah. Say that real fast. But I can't do it. I can't do it here, y'all. I switched. I got the Sam Smiths. I'd never wore sneakers before. I was only flip-flops. But Paris converted me.
You can wear Birkenstocks. Birkenstocks are acceptable
You
for like
can.
indoor house
Yeah,
slippers.
But, I mean, you you also should be fashionable. Now
Yeah.
this is just general advice
But
on coming to Paris.
Yeah, it's just they don't clean the streets, or if they do, actually, if they do, they come down with a water hose and clean the whole street, and then it's very slippery. And sometimes the street is like half wet, and you can't really decide if there was someone peeing there or if someone tried to clean the street. So
That's
try
really
to not
true.
step into anything that looks
Anything
liquid.
wet.
Yeah.
Anything wet. Do not assume
Skip
that it's
the
water.
stream. Jump
Yes.
over it.
Assume it's pee before water.
Yes.
I have seen multiple people peeing in public, multiple people, men
Yeah.
and women alike. So, this goes back to what you said about Paris being depicted as this very clean, pristine city. It's not. I think what we see, at least in Emily in Paris, is this really sweet, naive American girl, which I can totally relate to, that's kind of quirky and always wants to please other people and is really nice. I mean, as an American, I very much relate to that, and I'm always, like, hey, how's it going? And like really loud. I do my best to fit in, but
Tone it down after.
yeah,
a
like I
while,
have to be, I've learned how to like calm down my Americanness. But for example, her boss, I forget the boss's name.
Sylvie.
So Sylvie, she's so mean, and she just always has this look, and she's always judging and like, oh, what are you wearing today? And a funny story, I was going home or going somewhere in the metro, and on the other side of the station, the quai, like the whatever it's called,
The bank.
yeah, the bank of
the
the
Seine?
the metro.
On the other side of the metro.
yeah.
So
Oh,
on the
Yeah, okay.
opposite direction.
Right.
Okay.
So there was this woman that had, I think, maybe just come from painting or something, but it was her job, right? So she had big boots and this big outfit with lots of white dust and paint all over her. And this French woman behind her walks by her, looks at her, stops, and is like, Paris has turned me into, I used to be this super idealistic, like, yeah, everyone's nice. And then I came to Paris, I'm like, I have to stop. I'm going to get hurt. Like, I need to chill.
It's true. Being too open makes you vulnerable to being taken advantage of and
Yeah.
or attack.
Anywhere you go, but I think in Paris particularly.
Yeah, that's true. I've been here 5 years, and I remember being worried about like losing my personality because I wasn't feeling as outgoing as I usually am. But you're right. I think it's it's a protection thing. It's like a survival thing. But that being said, for me, I found a certain freedom in the Parisian culture of like not really needing to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't need to go out of your way. You can just be yourself. You can keep your mouth shut. You can not respond to somebody when they're talking to you if that's what you want to do. And I like not feeling socially obligated to perform.
Yeah.
It's something that has been at least properly depicted in at least Emily in Paris, even though there are probably other films and series to go off of, but this is the one that I know the best. Is that French people are kind of mean, they are kind of aloof, but to the flip side of that, you do have those people, like her colleagues that love her, that are kind of weird and like funny in their weird French way, but actually love her and look out for her, and so it just goes to show, like, nice French people, they exist. If you make a friend and they're French, good job, because they're really hard to make friends with, but they'll probably be loyal,
They just won the revolution, so
Sorry, there's a lot going on.
there is a lot going on. Sorry if we just seem not concentrated.
Watching right now. Right? Can you think of any movies that do show the real Paris? Like, have you seen any good depictions of Paris?
Well, Lupin is trying to do a good job, and you see that how he grew up in the ghetto, and they made it a little too ghetto because, again, I was. Hello.
There's a little boy over there.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we have to make faces.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so they show what he's living in the '93, right?
Yeah. Is it 90? It's Monterey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the '93.
So.
Google that and
Yeah.
add a little thing later.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
He's living in the suburbs of Paris.
Exactly,
It's not
and
Paris
so.
proper.
So I went there to film, and I wasn't sure what to expect, but then it was pretty harmless. I mean, yeah, culturally it was a little bit more diverse than Paris city center, but still. And then you have Emily in Paris, where basically everybody is white except that one token guy.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, but I mean, that is definitely something. Like, Paris is white, but there's lots of color here too.
Yeah.
So, like a lot more than you see in the movies. So don't feel like, if you're a person of color, that you wouldn't be welcome here, because you'll find your people. You'll find your people. I'll just say it like that.
Well, I think I might have to disagree. Like Paris, I wouldn't say that it's white. I would say that there are areas where it's very
concentrated.
It's very concentrated, and you have what's it called, like gentrification. And
as a person of color, I'll say I lived in the 7th for 4 years, and there's not a whole lot of brown people there unless they're working. So, like, maybe it's not officially segregated, but people do tend to separate themselves into groups, and that's anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a thing that's exclusive to Paris, but there are certainly some areas where I'm the only person at the event, you know, who is not white, and there are some areas where I blend in, and if I don't say anything, you know, I could be from Morocco or Martinique. I get that a lot. People ask me if I'm from Martinique. And I just try to keep my mouth closed because I want to blend in. If I say it, if I even like make any noise at all, they'll know that I'm American, and then I won't be able to escape.
in general, I think Paris has a relatively good job of having a different, not that it like has a good job, pat on the back Paris, but I think there are a lot of different kinds of people from all different sorts of nationalities and backgrounds, and I think that's another thing that makes Paris so intriguing.
Definitely.
Yeah. In my job, at work, we certainly have people of all colors, but they all have the French passport. So I'm the only one not French, not with a French passport. Yeah.
What were you talking about Midnight in Paris?
Yeah.
And
So
I really used to love that movie. Paris is not quite as romantic as he was making it out to be. I don't know. I feel like it's the city of lights, right? And people always come here expecting romance. And what is realistic is that you do see people making out on the streets. I don't know if that's romantic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, getting it in on a park bench, that's cool, but is it romance?
I think Paris is romantic in its own sense, but like you have to put yourself into that mood. Like you have to look for the romance in Paris, because if you're not looking for it, it might be hard to find it. But I think it's definitely there.
yeah. So
Okay. It's
I
okay.
think it's there.
Okay,
I think it's there, but you have to look for it, and you have to interpret it that way. Paris can be romantic, or it can
I
be the
was gonna
worst
say-
city in the world.
No, I would say you have to interpret it that way.
You do, yeah.
That's, you know what I mean? Like, you can interpret anything if you're in a positive mood and you're looking, you know, the sun is shining cool, the rain, okay, it's romantic, whatever. But, like, there's a lot of things that could be interpreted in many different ways.
I will say, however, I think Paris has the capacity. I think it's easy to romanticize this city, and we see it in tons of films and tons of books and series. It is easy to romanticize the city because there is something so charming about it. You get here and you feel the charm immediately. I will say that to me, Paris has a charm that is almost kind of tangible. But there's like real life, which is mixed in with that.
Yeah.
So
thank you, ladies. And if you liked the video, then please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and then hop over to the channel Lauren Clark and watch, listen to Monique's podcast.
Snapchat with my younger self.
Snapchat with her younger self.
I'm the younger self.
She's the younger self.
Yes.
You can check out my YouTube, Lauren Clark, like Carola said, and I also enjoy singing, so maybe you'll see some songs on there soon.
Okay, cool. Bye.
Bye. Tschüss.
Down on every Paris street, always something new to meet. Paris stands for all to see, with her ancient